For Wednesday, the 20th of January, I'm going to show you how to use standard form for addition and subtraction. So how to add and subtract standard form. So adding and subtracting, the method is that if you're given a question like this, question 1, just this example, 3.42 by 10 to the 2 plus 1.4 by 10 to the 5, you change them into ordinary numbers, then you do the addition, and then you change it back into standard form. These are all non-calculator questions. So you need to be comfortable with the last video. If you're not, go back and have a look over it again. But what we need to do to perform this particular operation is we need to change standard form into ordinary form. So the two numbers are changed into ordinary form, and then you have to add them together without a calculator. So whenever you have them together, have your own method for addition. I'm not going to go over how to do column addition, but add them together. You'll get an ordinary number as an answer, but more often than not you'll be asked to give your answer as standard form, so you'll have to have your method to put it back into standard form. Same for subtraction. These are two standard form numbers and we're subtracting one from the other, so change them into ordinary numbers and then do your subtraction. Once again, I'm not going to go over how to do column subtraction and borrowing from other numbers. You should get this as an answer for an ordinary number, and then from yesterday's video you should be able to change it back into standard form. So that's addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division is also can appear in non-calculator questions, so you need to be comfortable in multiplying and dividing by decimals. So question 1 there, we have two standard forms being multiplied together. What we can do is, if you see that we'll have a multiplication here, here and here, we're essentially multiplying 4 things together. It doesn't matter what order you multiply those 4 things together. So just take your first parts, take your numbers 2.2 and 3, multiply them together. Take your powers of 10, multiply them together, and they will form our standard form answer. So 2.2 times 3, you should be able to do that without a calculator, 6.6. And then remember, whenever we are multiplying with the same base 10, we'll add the indices, so it becomes 10 to the power of 6. So once again, just take the first part of your standard forms and multiply them. 1.4 times 3 without a calculator is 4.2. And then take your second part, by 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 4 and 10 to the power of minus 2, multiply them together, and remember, when you multiply, you're adding the indices. So that's our answer. Question 3, same idea, except just slightly harder, not a harder multiplication. The answer needs a slight rejig. So take our 2.5 and our 5, multiply them together. Take our 10 squared and our 10 cubed, multiply them together. So 10 squared by 10 cubed gives us 10 to the power of 5. Happy enough. 2 by 5 is 12.5. Happy enough. The only thing is, 12.5 multiplied by 10 to the power of 5 is not standard form. We need to change it into standard form. So what we need to do is, I'll just zoom in here. Just get rid of all these red circles and ticks. So 12.5, there's a problem there. It's not a number between 1 and 10 or less than 10. So we need to make it into a number between 1 and 10 by dividing by 10. So 12.5 becomes 1.25. So we have divided that number by 10. To balance that out, we have to multiply by 10. Multiply our base, or our power of 10 by 10. So divide by 10 here, balance it out, multiply by 10. Whenever you multiply by 10, it's the same as adding on a 1 to the index. Another one here, another multiplication. We will take, so number 4, we'll take our 1.2 and our 2.5 and multiply them together. We'll take our 10 cubed and our 10 to the power of 4 and multiply them together. So this should be easy here. 3 add 4 is 7. Now you see this 1.2 times 2.5. You should be able to do that without a calculator. Now whenever we've got two decimals being multiplied together in standard form, this first one mightn't be a straightforward one, but this one should be something that you will have a method for doing. So multiplying by 2.5, you should be able to realize that that's the same as times them by 2 and times them by half and adding them together. So over here, 1.2 multiplied by 2.5, that's the same as doubling 1.2 and adding on half of 1.2. So here we go. double 1.2 and then add on half of it. That's the same as multiplying by 2.5. So without a calculator, you've done this. So the answer is 3.0 multiplied by 10 to the power of 7. Division, just one example of division here. Same again, you'll have numbers that you should be able to divide without a calculator. You take those two numbers and just divide them. In the same way that for multiplication we took the two numbers at the start and multiplied them, we'll take these two numbers and divide them. And then we'll take our 2 powers of 10 and we'll divide them. So 3.6 divided by 1.2 just happens to be handy, it's 3, or 3.0. And 10.7 divided by 10 to the power of 7 divided by 10 to the power of 2 is 10 to the power of 5. So all of these questions you should be able to do without a calculator. That's not to say that there won't be any calculator questions on an M7M8 paper.